requirements of the Open Public Meeting Act has been complied with and satisfied in that the annual notice, which gave sufficient notice of the time and place and conduct of all public meetings of the Municipal Council of the City of Brunswick, has been filed with the City Clerk, has been placed on an appropriate bulletin board in City Hall, and has been transmitted to the official newspaper for the City of Brunswick, namely the Home News Tribune.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please join me in remembering last week was Teachers Appreciation Week, and I would like to take a moment to celebrate and honor all the educators who have made and continue to make an impact on the lives of our students here in the City of New Brunswick. Thank you.
Motion to accept the minutes?
Second.
Councilmember Fleming,
Yes.
Councilmember Gaskin,
Yes.
Councilmember Secor Ludwig,
Yes.
Council Vice President Egan,
Yes.
Council President Escobar.
Yes. Madam Clerk, has the correspondence been directed to the appropriate departments?
Yes, Madam President, the correspondence received by the City Clerk's office was forwarded to the appropriate departments for further action.
Thank you. Now we have ordinances for discussion on second reading. Number 1, ordinance 052301 is an ordinance to amend and supplement the revised general ordinances of the City of New Brunswick, Title 10, Vehicles and Traffic, Handicap Parking, Section 10.20.010, Schedule 39, parking zones for handicapped persons. This is to add various locations. Does any of my fellow council members wish to comment on this specific ordinance? Having none, we are preparing to open the public hearing on this ordinance only for up to 5 minutes per person, one time off. If any members of the public wishes to speak to the council on this ordinance, please do so. Approach the council. Having none?
Move the ordinance?
Second.
Councilmember Fleming,
Yes.
Councilmember Gaskin,
Yes.
Councilmember Secor Ludwig,
Yes.
Council Vice President Egan,
Yes.
Council President Escobar.
Yes. Ordinance 052302 is an ordinance to amend and supplement the revised general ordinances of the City of New Brunswick, Title 10, Vehicles and Traffic. This is in reference to parking meters, additional parking, and change of traffic flow on Morris Street. Does any of my fellow council members have any questions or comment on this particular ordinance? Having none, we are ready to open the public hearing on this ordinance only. We have up to 5 minutes, one time. Please approach the council.
Hi, yes, Danielle Moore, Somerset Street. Would you please tell me what's the change of the flow on what will be on Morris Street?
Mr. Dominguez?
Yes. The portion of Morris Street between George Street and Nielsen, right now it's a two-way street, but it's highly underutilized and we're trying to get more parking in that neighborhood. So we're going to change it to a one-way going east, which is away from George Street toward Nielsen Street, so we can allow for parking on the opposite side of the street where there's currently no parking permitted.
Thank you.
So may I ask for parking, what, for who? What is this, for the grocery store or for Eric B. Chandler?
It's public parking.
Public parking is enough, but we like to park there.
Well, like I said, due to where my main concerns with turning this area into a one-way street, due to where, that would just slow a lot of traffic down there. So what about with the parking meters? So what, can you give me information in regards to parking meters? What time limit? What?
Certainly. So on the parking meter bid, which is a lot of code, we are right now the first 2 hours are $1.50 each hour, the first 2 hours, and then each hour, the third hour starts at $2 and then escalates $1 an hour until $7 on the 8th hour. What the change would do is it would change it from $1.50 to $2 for each of those first 2 hours, and then the third hour would be $3 instead of $2, and then escalate $1 up as it does now, but just up to a new number.
Okay, and are these the same meters where you can use your credit cards or
It's the same meters that exist now.
Okay, so like I said, the same ones where you can use your credit cards and all, okay? All right, thank you, but like I said, due to changing that into a one-way street due to busy area down there but plenty of ambulance and all, especially due to right there with Eric B. Chandler, I don't really see this good matter of changing this into a one-way street. Like I said, I've been seeing too much going on at that corner, like I said, for emergency vehicles, too many overdoses down there, like I said, emergency vehicles for Eric B. Chandler, then like I said, not happy to hear that word, that street due to then after you have gang related there due to that was the same spot that my son was stabbed at and the other young boy was stabbed at. But like I said, wow, stop closing these roads, think about emergency vehicles to help get to someone in time. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Daniel. Anybody else in this ordinance?
Yes. Good evening, Charlie Cradaville, New Brunswick today. I wanted to ask what prompted the increase in the parking costs. Did the parking authority ask the city to do it, or was this the council's idea?
Mr. Dominguez, do you have an answer to
Yes.
this?
So the parking authority and myself, we did a rough analysis of how long it's been since we've done increase on the meters and the cost to operate, and we determined that this was an appropriate time to make a relatively modest increase in the permit in the meter fees citywide.
Thank you, Mr. Dominguez.
All right, so just to be clear, this is every meter in the city.
Yes.
Okay. I understand, if the motivation is to ensure there's spaces available for those who need them, or if, safety and traffic congestion play into it, but it seems like this is for money reasons that the council is poised to increase the cost of parking for everyone who uses a meter in New Brunswick. And I just want to clarify the new rate, like what a quarter will get you 7 minutes, is that correct?
Mr. Dominguez, you specific.
I'm not sure down to the coin how it's going to break out, so I can't answer for that.
You just gave examples of what is based on.
Yeah, I just know that the parking authority has really poorly managed their finances, and you don't have to look far to see it. You could go to the former fresh grocer and see that space was supposed to generate rent for the authority, and it's currently not. In fact, it's causing more costs for them because they have to tear stuff down in there, and they still don't have a tenant. The county's backed out.
Anything else on this ordinance, Mr.
I just don't think that residents should have to shoulder the burden for the financial mismanagement of the New Brunswick Parking Authority. And I do support the changing that block of Moore Street to a one-way. I know years ago the city wanted to make the existing one-way block the other way, and I think the county, or maybe it was the parking authority, put the kibosh on that. But I do support that, but I can't, in good conscience, support jacking up the parking costs even further for, to pay for this poor management of the independent authority. The New Brunswick Parking Authority should find another way to pay down their debt and get their bills in order without putting it on the backs of the residents.
Mr. Carter, anybody else? No? Okay, the motion?
Move the ordinance.
Councilmember Fleming.
Yes.
Councilmember Gaskin.
Yes.
Councilmember Socorro Ludwig.
Yes.
Council Vice President Egan.
Yes.
Council President Escobar.
Yes. We have ordinance 052303, is an ordinance for the temporary closure of George Street between Albany Street and Bayer Street from Sunday, May 21st, 2023 through Sunday, November 5th, 2023. Do any of my fellow council members have any comments on this specific ordinance?
I would just like to say I think the street closure is a fantastic idea. It's well received by the community. The restaurants do a nice job down there. Unfortunately, the council was not given the proper information that goes along with Resolution 26 and addresses this ordinance. And that's my only concern with that tonight. It has nothing to do with the businesses or me agreeing with the process or not.
Anybody else? Any other council member? So now we are preparing to open the public hearing on the ordinance only for up to 5 minutes per person, one time up. Any members of the public wishes to speak on this ordinance, please approach the council.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for your time, everyone. I know this may not be the popular point of view, but I'd like to take this opportunity to submit for the record my reservations regarding the closure of George Street to traffic for the benefit of the local service and hospitality industry. I fully understand that this decision is not something that is being taken lightly. I also fully understand that this closure would be highly beneficial to the local service and hospitality industry. My reservations lie in the fact that this decision would create that the traffic this decision would create would be very difficult at best. As a community, we learned that during the pandemic, despite the considerably decreased local business, the traffic was still very difficult to negotiate in our community while George Street was closed. Well, this part of George Street was closed, I should say. Moreover, many small local businesses and larger corporations, for example, I don't hate to speak for them, but I go to TD Bank, I heard from a lot of the employees complaining about it, will experience difficulties running their businesses efficiently and with customer satisfaction if this decision is implemented. I strongly emphasize that I am open to changing my mind because I am sure that the local service and hospitality industry considers this closure critical to their business well-being. However, to be honest, it will be difficult to change my mind because of the traffic conditions that our community will face if the closure occurs again. Again, thank you for your time, everyone, and I look forward to a meaningful dialogue on this matter.
Anybody else from the public wishes to address the council on this ordinance?
Hi, yes, Danielle Moore. I will say it again, due to where George Street does not need to be closed. Like I said, due to where it's only helping your friend's business. With George Street being closed, due to where the only 3 businesses that made profit with George Street being closed, that's Harvest Moon, Tavern, and Cactus. Due to where, wow, I happen to be speaking with some of the owners through there, due to where I can't say which council member is friends with them. Wow, how you gave them a letter only to that business stating, oh, that the road was going to be closed. You asked them, was it okay? And honestly, I don't want to get the young lady fired, but due to where, yes. Instead of you going to every businesses asking, was this okay? Instead of you, like I said, looking out for your friends. And like I said, due to where I got plenty of messages from business owners, as I can see that I pass George Street 2 times a day or more, due to where with the buses flowing again, it's bringing in more people, due to where the rest of restaurants, Burger King, Popeyes, everything is busy. I see it for one thing for a fact. You do not need to close this road because, like I said, too many emergencies. Wow, you saw the situation, wow, with the man hanging on the pole down there. Wow, with the fire department had to come rescue on George Street. Wow, how many overdoses have you had on George Street? Think about all the emergency vehicles, going around a one-way, coming back around, how the time would, take away somebody's life. George Street does not need to be closed because that wasn't supported to every business. How many businesses went out? At least 7. Wow, shocking with Starbucks. That was because Rutgers buses could not stop and drop the students off anymore over there. That used to be packed every day. Starbucks, Verizon, T-Mobile, let me name a couple of, even some more new ones, due to where it was Subway before, due to where Payless before, now even Hoobrew, that's going out of business. Please, like I said, did you notify the owners to ask them on their question that due to where, did they have a right to tell anything due to where if that business was hurting them? But like I say, stop thinking about your damn friends, think about the community, other people, because like I said, money's not going to do the right thing. Where you're just looking out for your buddies, and I don't feel it's right. But like I say, the last thing I'm going to say, wow, for each one of you do vote yes. May the Lord bite you in your ass for not doing the right thing.
Anybody else from the public? Any other comment from the public?
Move the ordinance.
Yes,
I'm sorry, I didn't see you. Sorry.
It's okay.
Mr.
Yes, Charlie Cradville, New Brunswick Today. So I'm looking at the resolution that's associated, and I guess I'm a little confused by the councilwoman's comments that the council didn't get information about this. Could you ask her to elaborate? I know as the public, we only get the resolution. It's usually posted to the website at like 4 p.m. the day of the meeting. But are you saying this resolution was not made available to the council prior to today?
I did not get the information.
Okay, well, yeah, that's not, does not inspire confidence, because I know the ordinance is very vague, but the resolution is what sets forth some of the things like the application fee and the rules, and it seems like it could have been drafted better. So let me understand, your intention here is to allow businesses on George Street for those 3 blocks to use up the space in front of their business, and it applies to retail as well as restaurants. So if, you know, C.H. Martin wants to sell stuff in the middle of the street in front of their business, they can do that, correct?
Mr. Dominguez, and you just hear, now that I have you here, based on some of the questions that they have been asked, the public has been asking, can you talk a little bit about the process that was taken in order for this ordinance and the resolution to be forward to us tonight, in terms of what is that we looking to do with?
Okay. So I can't speak on the ordinance too much. That was not done through my process. I can speak more on the resolution though. On the resolution, we were looking to take advantage and use the tools that we had during the executive orders, during the prior closures that we found to be most successful, and try to make them work in 2023. So that was the origin of a lot of those changes. To answer the question that Mr. Cradville posed, yes, they're also allowed to use adjacent spaces and contiguous spaces to them if nobody else wants to use them, but the answer is yes. So that's the primary basis, your frontage right up to the midpoint of the street.
Thank you. I just wanted to make sure that we were clear on that.
Yeah.
Thank you. And so there's application fees now, so I think this is the first time that the users of this space would be required to pay. I want to just be clear that application fee, is that a fee that if your application is denied, you get it back, or you just have to pay either way?
It'll be based on the approved square footage that you end up using. As you know, some people might apply, and because there's conflicting areas, they may not be able to get as much space as they requested per se, because the business next to them wants to use their space, but they asked for both spaces. So it'll be based on whatever square footage they are granted at the end of the review process.
Okay, thank you. And so it does say in the resolution that businesses may request permission to utilize adjacent spaces. It's unclear who they have to make the request to. Do they have to get permission from the other businesses? Do they just tell the city clerk or the city where they want to be? And do they require permission from the other businesses or?
So the initial process will be that they'll submit that as part of their application, but then if there, for whatever reason, there's a mechanism in the resolution that if the business next door, it has a problem with it, they can make a request to the city, and we will cease allowing them to operate in that space.
Okay, and are all the businesses being notified of this opportunity to reclaim the space in front of their stores?
They'll have the resolution available to them as everyone else will, and the application will be hopefully on the website by tomorrow.
Forgive me, I don't think, most of the business owners probably don't check the city website to read all the resolutions, so I understand. I guess my question is, are they going to be notified proactively? Will they be?
I would hope and expect that City Market will relay this to all of their businesses.
Okay, correct. So, and then on the why is it 14 days to cease operations? If one business says, hey, this other business is causing problems for me in front of my business, they've taken my space without my approval, I want it to stop. Why do they get 14 days to cease operations? Why can't that be done quicker?
Well, there's a few reasons. One, because problems are sort of a vague term. If they're not complying or being bad actors, the city can immediately sort of squash the situation. If someone's operating in good faith, but the business in front is tired of seeing them there for whatever reason, they can just say, you know what, I don't want them there. And this gives the business the ability to roll down in a sort of reasonable way rather than say, oh, you made all this investment, you bought all these tables and chairs, you have to go away. Because people's opinions may change. So a business might be cool with it today, and 2 weeks from now they might have a different opinion with it, and then we'll give the business an opportunity to roll down gradually.
May I ask one more question? It's an important one. Thank you. I just want to ask if there's going to be any public seating and tables that are not associated with a particular restaurant. If I pack a lunch, can I go grab a place to sit at a table?
That has nothing to do with this resolution. I don't know if City Market's going to intend to do anything like that, but that's not subject to these controls on the resolution.
Okay, well, it ought to be part of it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? With this ordinance?
Marge Kerber, 2 Comstock Street in New Brunswick. I haven't been here for quite a while, but things haven't changed. Okay, my first question is, why is it through Sunday, November 5th? Isn't that going to interfere with Rutgers students and Rutgers buses?
It will be here when Rutgers students are here, but the Rutgers buses have not utilized George Street since during the pandemic. They changed their routes and they have fewer stops. So they stopped trying to stop on George Street altogether. And so they don't use this route anymore.
Thank you. But why is it till November 5th? I mean, it could snow.
I guess I want to take advantage of
I believe it's to the end of Rutgers football season, they like to do it through.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
I believe that's the intent.
Yeah, and then I also find it ironic that you're going to do this, but yet on the other hand, you're raising the price of the parking meters. So you're trying to get people to come to New Brunswick, but yet you raise the rates on the parking meters. And that's why I don't come to downtown if I have to park in a meter, because I refuse to pay that amount of money to park in New Brunswick. But thank you for allowing me to comment.
Anybody else on this ordinance?
Move the ordinance. Oh, I'm sorry, you got the comment. I'm sorry, Michael.
Hi, Michael Tublin. I'm a resident of Hiram Square for the last 18 years. I just would like to say that I'm in complete support of this. As a resident who's grown up in Franklin and has lived in New Brunswick, and I've been around here for the last 50 plus years, that it's a breath of fresh air to have this downtown space available. It's an attraction. It draws people from other towns, cities, and states to come. The city is alive, and there's a heartbeat going when the street has been closed and the people are outdoors, and it brings tenfold amount of people that there would be otherwise if the street was open as it is now, which is now turned into sort of a parking lot for, Uber Eats or whatever that are now stopped on George Street. This will alleviate that and also give us just another great reason to come visit our city. Thank you.
Anybody else?
I'd like to speak on it. I drive through there all the time, and I take the Rutgers bus, so I'm familiar with all of that. I think I like the idea, personally. I just have some concerns about some of the specifics of it. Not making sure that there are public spaces still available for people. I think if the idea is to increase foot traffic, then making sure that there are some public spaces for citizens to still use, since it is a street that is a public property, right, that we are allowing private interests to use, right? I think it makes sense that there should still be some public spaces available. I think also, as far as like the dates going into once students return back, there's a couple of things about that. As far as, I know the gentleman before me mentioned the Uber Eats situation. It is very frustrating. I totally understand that. I think it would make sense to have some portion in the plan, though, to have some spaces and areas apportioned out, maybe actually remove some of those parking meters and create loading zones for some of those Uber Eats people, because these days young people, they are actually mostly using things like Uber Eats and stuff like that. That's why it's actually gotten so bad. And so it would actually make sense to get rid of, just get rid of a couple parking meters in a couple spots and create a situation in place for them to come to. And then just as far as like the dates, yeah, I mean, it is pretty disruptive to the bus stop situation, and I've heard several of my students complain about some of the fact that some of the bus stops have taken out because it restricts their access to a lot of important services, most importantly, one of them being the train and things like that, and also their access to downtown, something that's very important, also has been restricted, right, which they are a huge part of it. So I think, again, that might be contributing to why so much Uber Eats is going on, though, because now downtown is so inaccessible, you know, that, like, people are ordering it instead. So I guess I just have some concerns about the logistics, that's all.
Thank you. Anybody else from the public?
Hey, good evening, everyone. Anderson Hernandez, Welland Street. Wasn't really going to speak, but I heard a few things. I want to echo the gentleman's thoughts that I've been a lifetime resident of New Brunswick, and not only that, but I've gone all around New Jersey, Jersey City, Asbury, everywhere, and everyone's kind of moving forward and doing things like this. I have a wife, I have a child, I have a daughter. It's awesome to not have my daughter screaming inside of a restaurant and bothering everyone, but being outside, it kind of allows for a little bit of that flexibility. I really like to see the progression towards new, innovative things, and I enjoy it. I walk down the street, we eat outside, and you know, it really is beneficial to the residents of New Brunswick. I mean, that's my opinion. I think last thing to say is that every decision that's made, it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be a win for everyone. Someone's always going to, there's going to be pros and cons to everything. So keeping that in mind, that as long as the decisions we make are mostly beneficial to everyone, I think that's something to think about. That's all.
Thank you. Anybody else from the public?
I have a question, if that's okay. Mr. Dominguez, on the piece of the resolution for the fees, the fee structure for this,
Yes.
last we spoke, it was a different amount. Can you tell me how you arrived at these figures and who was involved in that decision?
Certainly. We, after pouring through the information, we felt that there was a concern of being potentially overly onerous and discouraging investment in downtown at the prior rates. We felt that while the prior rates might more adequately capture certain things, that we run the risk of discouraging the businesses from participating and creating a vibrant downtown. And if you charge too many fees to the point that no one is utilizing the downtown space, it sort of makes it worse and sort of enables some of the detractions that some people have said, oh, it's like only 2 or 3 businesses that use it. We don't want to see that. We want as many businesses as possible to be there, using the space, active, productive, vibrant, and we have concerns that the prior numbers that we had come up with would be discouraging of doing so.
Thank you. May I ask one more question? Mr. Schneider, can you answer a question for me?
Sure.
I know that we are obtaining plans for permanent closure down there. We're working through the process and we're looking at things. In those plans, will we be addressing more of a public area as opposed to what we're going to do during the temporary closure?
If anybody doesn't know, I'm Doug Schneider. I'm chairman of City Center. So I'm chairman of the board of City Center, and thank you for asking that question. Currently, we are working on it was unanimously approved to do a architectural survey of the downtown, with the main topics being a potential of pedestrianization, but also wayfinding, trash management, and things like general public safety down there. So one of the things that we are addressing is the public use. I will tell you that it's in the draft phase. I'm not comfortable telling you what it's going to end with. The client for this is City Center. It was a unanimous decision to approve the spend for this study. And we hope in the next, I would say month, we would get it out to the board. And then after the board sees it, then the public will have a chance to weigh in, and we will have a public session on that. And our goal with this is certainly to provide the most amount of seating for the public. So without going too much further into that draft, because I don't want to be quoted on it when it might not end up this way, it is a ball of clay that we're molding, and it's something that will not be finished until the public has a chance to weigh in. But our goal is to have essentially more public spaces for people to gather. We know that what we've done downtown stimulates job growth, It enables us to withhold jobs throughout the summer. Many New Brunswick residents work in a lot of the retailers and establishments that are downtown. The hospitality industry, while it seems to take up a big footprint, in order to have that big footprint, it needs bodies and jobs. And in the past, we had to lay off people in the summer and bring those people back in September. What this study is hopefully going to show is that any potential redesign will stimulate job growth not only during our busy season of September through May, but for all 12 months of the year, which in the past, New Brunswick downtown was not famous for being busy in the summer. So with that said, the short answer to your question is, yes, we're looking very much forward to having public space, but I cannot say that that's the way it's going to end up, because we don't know what the study and the results of the public influence on that will be.
Thank you for that. So I don't have to recommend, because I was going to recommend for it to start looking at that, so thank you for giving us that information. And I'm looking forward to seeing what plans are coming up for public spaces. Thank you. On that note, can I entertain a motion?
I move the resolution. Second. Or second.
Councilmember Fleming.
Yes.
Councilmember Gaskins.
Yes.
Councilmember Socorro Ludwig.
Yes.
Council Vice President Egan.
Yes.
Council President Escobar.
Yes. We have ordinances on first reading. We have ordinance 052304. It's an ordinance to amend and supplement the revised general ordinances of the City of New Brunswick, Title 16, Land Development Code, Chapter 16.24, Site Plan Review.
Move the ordinance setting down Wednesday, June 7th, 2023, same date to be advertised.
Second.
Councilmember Fleming.
Yes.
Councilmember Gaskin.
Yes.
Councilmember Socorro Ludwig.
Yes.
Council Vice President Egan.
Yes.
Council President Escobar.
Yes. We have ordinance 052305. It's an ordinance to amend and supplement the revised general ordinances of the City of New Brunswick, Title 17, Zoning, Chapter 17.05, Off-Street Parking and Loading, Chapter 17.06, Signage Requirement, and Chapter 17.08, Enforcement and Compliance.
I move the ordinance setting down June 7th, 2023 at 5 p.m., same date to be advertised.
Second.
Councilmember Fleming.
Yes.
Councilmember Gaskin.
Yes.
Councilmember Socorro Ludwig.
Yes.
Council Vice President Egan.
Yes.
Council President Escobar.
Yes. This time we're going into resolutions. We have resolutions 1 to 27. Before we go into that, if any members of my fellow members have any comments on any of the resolutions or any questions? At this time, we are preparing to open the meeting for public comment on the resolutions only. You have up to 5 minutes, one time up. If any members of the public wish to speak to the council on the resolutions, please approach us.
Hi, yes, Danielle Moore. First, I will start off with number 20, due to where I'm just very upset with you council members, due to where with a lot of these liquor license changing from bars, and I provided you with several pictures to prove my point from becoming a bar and turning it into a bar and a liquor store. The only place that bar or liquor place that you really take matters seriously. What? That's the only one over there by Mr. Anderson. You don't take anything serious. But like I said, please, enough with these liquor license changing all of these bars. It's a difference from a bar and a liquor store. A bar is the person drinks inside, due to where what? A liquor store, what? Bringing all the garbage. I showed you with all the garbage, and like I said, you made Mr. Egan, you said, you
Not
can.
making any of these liquor stores.
I was going to say,
like I said, I hope not. You done did enough damage already to New Brunswick, like I said, due to where maybe I put your address up there and let these people start bringing all these damn bottles of beer to you and put them in front of your house.
these are existing.
I'm just saying, either way, like I said, I don't need you to kill my time, but like I said, you're still wrong at doing what you're doing.
I just want to make sure that you're going to be I'm missing one. I was trying to give you the correct information, but go ahead.
Thank you. Then also due to where 17, please tell me due to where with these new vehicles with the police department, are these unmarked, and what I'm realizing, what are these unmarked due to where a lot of these last vehicles that are unmarked due to where, wow, they look like luxury vehicles, even though I can tell that they're police, but are these to go home to the officer's family where they drive around with their family in the vehicles?
Deputy Director Miller, can you address number 17 and all the vehicles? And these vehicles are, I know we're purchasing, that's the resolution to purchase this vehicle. These are for staff only use while on duty, correct?
I didn't hear what you said down that second.
And these vehicles are for those, while they're on duty, to utilize while the officers are on duty?
No. The city is in the process of putting together a park ranger program, and the police department is the lead agency putting together the program. These two utility vehicles will be used by the park rangers in the parks.
Just for the park rangers?
Yes.
And these vehicles will be utilized only while they're working on duty or while they're taking them home? That's the question that she was
No, they're not
asking.
taking them home.
Thank you.
Okay, like I said, I do see a lot of these new police vehicles, like I said, due to where, what? They look like family vehicles. Then the last one, due to where that's 7, due to where I know I just spoke to Mr. Victor from the Parks Supervisor of the Department of Public Works and Mr. Valently about Feasters Park, due to where there's a delay, due to where there's a shortage with delivery and supplies, due to where I see you have them unmarked here for in August. Would you please tell me what is their guarantee that this park is going to even be done by July, due to where with the shorter supplies?
Mr. Brutus, we will be ready for the festival, which is number 7, a festival that Aisha Williams of Camden is asking for Feaster Park. Will Feaster Park be ready by then? By August 26th?
So it's intended to be ready, yes. The holdup on Feaster Park is just getting our hands on the plantings that need to come in. All the hardscape's done, all the construction's done, so it's really top-level soil items, so yes.
So we expect it to be ready by then, this week. If we will not, we will notify Ms. Aisha Williams if there's a challenge with that.
Well, okay, I hope like within a certain amount of time, just in case it's not, but like I said, by what I just heard from Mr. Valently and Mr. Victor down when they were doing the dog park, that it was an issue on a lot of the deliveries to continue. I believe that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Good evening once again. Charles Cradville, New Brunswick Today. I'll start with number 17, the SUV, the utility vehicles. Can I hear what model, make and model vehicle it is? Is it a truck? Is it an SUV?
For the park rangers, do we know the models?
I don't know the exact model. It's basically a Polaris, which is like a golf cart.
Okay, so not a full-size on-the-road vehicle. Okay.
It is street legal, but it's not.
It's not a
Ford Explorer. It's not a Tahoe. It's a small.
Oh, thank you. Number 20, the liquor licenses. Can you just remind me the Vine of New Brunswick? What establishment is that? Is that the old Kelly's Corner?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And yeah, I wanted to ask about the last two. I know we had a discussion already about the George Street closure. May I ask, what were the original contemplated application fees that were changed?
Do we have that information, Mr. Dominguez?
Sure. So we were considering $1 a square foot, but we felt like it might be prohibitive and onerous to accomplish the goals that we were looking at.
Thank you, Mr. Dominguez.
Okay. And does anybody know the name of the architecture firm that's doing the study?
We're not going to talk about it because I was unofficial with that, he was just saying something, so as soon as the center have any information, I'm sure they'll share it. Yeah, I was going to say that information.
Okay. I believe it was said that it was unanimously agreed to by the city center board, so it would be public information. I guess Councilwoman can follow up with me.
She's involved
Thanks.
with them, so she will make sure she'll get it to you.
All right, and then the only other issue I have is the last resolution on your agenda does not appear to be in my packet. I don't know if anybody else has it in their packet, but is is that resolution prepared?
Whatever you prefer to is the advice.
I see a last-minute addition of appointment of Crystal Harris. Advice and consent. It's not in my packet. Is it in yours?
So we have that. City clerk, yeah, we'll have.
Everyone should have it.
You should have it. See the other packet, might have it.
I'll check the other packets, but yeah. Just wanted to raise that issue. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Anybody else from the public wishes to address the council? None?
Move the resolution.
Second.
Councilmember Fleming,
Yes.
Councilmember Gaskins,
Yes.
Councilmember Secor Ludwig,
Yes.
Council Vice President Egan,
Yes.
Council President Escobar.
Yes, now we are moving into the public portion part of the meeting. Just before we go into that, I would like to, just a few things that I would like to announce. I just want to congratulate Councilmember Susan Sikora Ludwig, as she was named Howard Player by Industry Magazine, so congratulations. Recognized also part of it is for her work for the Taste of New Jersey, the Taste of the State. Yeah, she has been doing a great job with that. So thank you. Thank you. We have 2 events coming up, so I just want to announce, if you could just, if you don't have anybody, we have on Saturday the grand opening of the Riverside Bark Halfway Park. It's a Dolly Park. It will be open on Saturday. It's expected to be from 11 to 1, and if it rains, it will be on Sunday. Also, there is a community group called Sisters Work, who has been providing prom dresses for our students. Tomorrow, on Saturday, they will have the 3rd event. They started with 1, they kept growing. So they added 1 more day on Saturday. So if you know of anybody any of our students who need a dress for prom or for graduation, they have events. They have beautiful dresses. And they're going to do it on Saturday, May 20th from 12 to 3 at 9 Bayer Street. So please make sure to spread the word for our students to go and take advantage of that. And that's a collaboration with, like I said, with Sister Work and other organizations here in the city of New Brunswick. On that note, we're going to be preparing to open the meeting for public comment. Just remember that you have 5 minutes, 1 time up. So at least refrain from any abusive, discriminatory, derogatory language. And if any members of the public wishes to address the council at this time, please come forward, state your name.
Hi, that's Daniel Moore. First, I would like to start off with our housing inspector. I give him an A+. That's Mr. Samuel Torres. Wow, I have to say, out of the past 4 years, wow, it's good to see an inspector to finally do the right thing, to go through the entire house, check anything. But the best thing that I saw in him, wow, first time asking, oh, is there anything you feel that needs to be done in your place? Unfortunately, due to where I'm a person that speak up, everything's already done in my place. I didn't have matters, but due to where, and another thing, I will speak on him, due to where, with the order that was listed on the first floor tenants, due to where I like how he came back and made sure the landlord fixed what was on his order. I will say I would say A+. If we can get more housing inspectors like this, due to where I think we can do better throughout this situation. I thank you for him. Now, I will also say thank you to Officer Jamal James, where I told you, he told me his favorite color was purple, due to where, like I said, he's like a second parent to kids at the school. I will be donating this picture to Officer Jamal James. If you may come up and receive it, please. I thank you, due to where I know you help the kids out. You're like a second parent to the school. I thank you for your good service being an officer and
excellent officer.
I will say, due to where I know I have to see her fly there, that's Officer Nicole Lewis, due to where she was, another one that touched my heart when I said, wow, took me seriously with the situation with my son being stabbed. Wow, like she took her place out of an officer and put it in, like, wow, what I was going through, where she really looked out for me. She told me her favorite color was green, due to where I will be giving this, donating to Officer Nicole Lewis for her great work as well. Due to where, like I said, when I know we have good officers, I wish we can have more good officers. I will say thank you to her as well, but like I said, I'm still at a matter where I'm just very disappointed what I'm seeing with New Brunswick Police Department and the prosecutor with this situation with my son and a boy being stabbed on George Street in Morris. One's telling me this, I'm telling this due to where too many lies. Then my next question is, please tell me, is it true that Director J.T. Miller is retiring?
Director, are you retiring?
Definitely retire one day.
One day, like all of us. So
I tell you, it'll be soon. Like I said, when I can't stop thinking about something, like I said, what I'm seeing. But okay. But like I said, due to where, but see, one thing, I'm gonna speak the truth though. I'm an honest person. I love my son as well. Love my son, but like I said, I'm an honest person. See, now these days, these kids, they're not chastised like we used to be back in the day with an old-fashioned behind whooping, due to where, what, like I told my son, hard head make a soft ass, excuse my language, but yes, due to where, what, I warned him, I told him not to go. I'm teaching my son things due to where, what, like I said, I'm not going to say the best thing to him, but let this be a lesson learned to him as well, due to where, like I told him, what, height, size does not matter when it comes to weapons or any guns or anything. Like I said, I'm an honest person due to where, like I said, my son was wrong in doing things, but like I said, I still don't like how the city still never showed me the video, the police department or the prosecutor, to show me, wow, if these guys all had masks on, why haven't I seen the video yet? What, was my son and the other gentleman stabbed by the same person? I don't like Jeff Monticello, and I will say it in my prayers that John Monticello, may he have his day. And like I said, due to where he's an evil person, he's the same one that I put in internal affairs when I first reported that, ooh, he's the one with the tracking on my phone that started all that, due to where, and like I said, you will still have your day for lying for him, saying that my phone isn't on no tracker, as much due to where New Brunswick follows me, trying to find something on me every time.
Marge Kerber, 2 Comstock Street. I'm here tonight to complain about the signs that were put up by the water company on the corner of Comstock Street and Nickel Avenue. These 2 industrial-size signs to indicate where the water utility is. I think it ruins our neighborhood, makes it look like it's an industrial area when it's not. Okay, Rutgers has that entire side of the street except for the water company, okay? And the Adult Autism Center is there, and they have a beautiful landscaped area. Rutgers takes really good care of this area, and you put up these 2 industrial signs for no reason at all. I don't understand. Nobody has been able to tell me why they're there, other than being a large industrial signs that point out where the water utility is, at 1 Comstock Street, okay? When I asked about it, I was told that the vendors and the contractors can't find the water utility. Well, excuse me, unless they're blind, they can see it from Nickel Avenue. There's nothing blocking them from seeing the water company and the water tower. It's right there. I mean, it's so obvious, it's ridiculous. So if they're having problems finding the water company, they've got a problem. But anyway, that's the number 1 thing, okay? The number 2 thing is, I know this probably all came about because one of my neighbors was getting the mail for the water utility, okay? All right. My understanding is the mail should not be coming to 1 Comstock Street. According to the post office, it should be going to the post office box, okay? So And there's no mailbox outside of the gate at the water utility, so I don't know how they can deliver mail there at one Comstock, okay? But, so that, it doesn't make any sense, again, for those signs to be there, okay? Plus, after the signs were up, I got their mail. So it's obviously, if that's the purpose of it, it's not working, okay? But other than, I am the only, myself and my other owners of property, okay, not tenants, but owners of property on Comstock Street and Nickel Avenue think this is an absolutely horrible idea. I mean, it just doesn't look right. I mean, it's a perfectly beautiful area, and you have to ruin it with these 2 industrial signs. If you want to have some signs, have little signs, but not these big, gigantic signs. And that's my comment for tonight. And I would appreciate if somebody...
That the mail is delivered by the postal office, so the mail carrier is responsible for delivering that mail where it's supposed to.
They can't deliver it to one Comstock.
Again, that's the responsibility. Maybe they need them to send it back, not deliver it to your neighbors.
No,
But thank
I'm
you.
going out,
But
sorry.
thank you.
I have gotten their mail before, okay? Years ago, I got packages and stuff. And I just called the water company and they came over and picked it up. It was no big deal. Why you have to have these industrial signs out there, it's beyond me, beyond me. It makes no sense whatsoever, okay? None. As I say, you can walk down to Jones Avenue and you can see the water company across that Nickel Avenue. So anyway, that's just my comment.
Thank you, Ms. Marcus.
Hello, I'm Pete McGill. So I'd like to start just sort of again to urge this body to reverse the policy and agenda of cutting social services and public services like the Division of Health and youth services, and to reinvest in public housing and 24/7 shelter access all year round. But I actually do have a question regarding public bathrooms at parks. I'm a park patron. I like to use the bathroom at parks. And there's also people who don't have access to private restrooms because of the aforementioned issues around housing. So I'm just wondering why these bathrooms are closed, and maybe who I should talk to change that.
So I'd like to know, if you don't mind after meeting, which bathroom you said is closed. Tell me now too if you like.
Okay, yeah.
Which park?
Bucolic and the one over on Cook Douglas. Those ones have been
Bucolic Park, that bathroom is being renovated.
Okay.
And so, but the one, so the park set?
The one on Cook Douglas where the skate park and community garden is.
Recreation,
Yeah.
that should be open, depending on the hours of the
Really?
day. And then there's also portable bathrooms in parks.
Yeah, no, I understand that, but I don't know. I've been at that park at like noon and middle of the day on a weekday, and it's been locked.
I'll follow up, Councilman.
Thank you. Before the next speaker, Mr. Cruz, can we just, the previous speaker was saying that we're putting services, can you just clarify that and make sure that people understand that the services we still have, and we haven't cut, as far as I know, we haven't got any services, so if you could just talk a little bit about that.
Sure, I'm not sure what the speaker is referring to, but we did, maybe it was the budget that was introduced. And in the budget introduced, I think we saw that the Department of Human and Community Services was very well funded and continues to be funding, and that's the department that handles our Code Blue, Code Red, and services for our community. So I'm not sure what was cut, but...
Thank you, I just wanted to... Anybody else, any other member of the public wishes to address?
Good evening, Charlie Cradaville, New Brunswick Today. Can I ask why wasn't the video posted from the last meeting?
Mr. Barron?
Sure. Madam President, there was some content in the video from the May 3rd meeting which required some redaction. The video is still in the process of being reviewed, and once it is approved and cleared, it will be posted for public viewing at that time.
May I ask what content needed to be redacted from the public meeting?
Did you post the video? Because you took a video, right? Did you post
I
it
asked you what content?
And I'm just asking you, I'm going to ask you that question, I'm just asking you, did you post the video, the city council meeting in your
I don't believe I have.
Okay. So, can you answer that question, Mr. Marrow?
It may have been content from Mr. Cradaville himself.
Right, okay. So, 2 weeks ago, I stood at this microphone, and I informed the council that New Brunswick's absentee police director lives more than 2 hours away from police headquarters. And I guess he didn't like the fact that I exposed this truth. So he sent me a letter, which I received on Monday, telling me to cease such disclosure and implying a threat of legal action if I do not. This is an illegal, unconstitutional prior restraint on my freedom of speech and the freedom of the press. It's sad, it's sick, but it's not surprising. As this council knows, in 2014 I was wrongfully arrested after being deceived by the police department. In 2015 I was illegally subpoenaed by the ethics board. In 2016, property was illegally seized from our newsroom by the New Brunswick Police Department in violation of federal law. And in 2017, a housing authority board member threatened to knock me out. And, you know, you've been a part of this for a while. You know that I've been relentlessly attacked and my character has been smeared by folks in this administration. So it's not surprising to see the police director use New Brunswick police letterhead to send this letter. It is simply illegal, unconstitutional, and an abuse of process. I think it's also important to note the context that just this month alone, we had one single day where 4 people were shot, including a 16-year-old boy. The city didn't use the Nixle alert system to inform the public, did not think those incidents were important enough to issue a press release. On May 2nd, there was an attempted murder with a cutting instrument on George's Road. There was also an armed robbery in Joyce Kilmer Park that sent 1 person to the hospital. A robber punched someone on George Street, and they were treated on scene. In all 3 of those incidents, cases were not solved, the incidents were not publicized. The very next day, May 3rd, a 36-year-old woman was robbed at gunpoint, escorted to her home and punched, taken to the hospital after being punched and robbed at gunpoint by a robber. Not solved, no publicity from the police department. May 4th, there was a report came in that a 21-year-old woman had been held against her will by a person with a gun at a motel on Route 1 for 10 days. No publicity. Case not solved. So maybe the New Brunswick police director can spend more time working on the serious crimes instead of using public resources to go after someone who is looking into how much work he does. You recall at the last meeting, I mentioned several questions that I've been asking over and over again. How many hours a week does he work? Director Caputo, not here, hasn't been here in 15 plus years. He hasn't come to a city council meeting. How many hours a week does he work? Did you find out?
Mr. Carter, those questions, do you have anything else, anything you need to say?
I do. I have another question that was unanswered. Does he work from home, or does he work here in New Brunswick like all the other officers have to? I also asked about the theft of a police officer's motor vehicle from the parking garage that the police run. How can people feel safe about coming to New Brunswick if the police can't even keep their own vehicles from being stolen? I have yet to hear your take on this or any substantive response from you, even though I've asked probably a half dozen times now. Who in New Brunswick Police Department can post to the city website? Why is that a secret? Why can't we know who in the New Brunswick Police is using the city website to put out messaging? Why? And what was the response? We can't tell you. It's top secret, Charlie. Why did the New Brunswick Police tell Tap Into the suspect was... you interrupted me. May I ask my final question? Was there a fatal crash last Friday in downtown New Brunswick?
You hate to hear the damn truth.
I make the motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Councilmember Fleming.
Yes.
Councilmember Gaskins.
Yes.
Councilmember Secor Ludwig.
Yes.
Council Vice President Egan.
Yes.
Council President Escobar.
Yes. Thank you.
That'll be the next one. 69%.